This is Anil with a video tutorial for the Learning Lad on C programming. In this video tutorial we're gonna see the conditional compilation statements like if-diff and if-and-if. Then we're gonna see the undiff directive in C. The syntax of this if-diff directive is here. So as you can see, if this macro name is defined by using #define directive, then these statements will be added by the preprocessor in our expanded source code, so that the compiler is going to compile that code. So if this macro name is not defined by using #define directive, then this statement will not be added or included by our preprocessor, and in the expanded source code these statements will not be there, so these statements will not be compiled by our compiler. So the syntax of this if-and-if is this one. Here just the complement of the if-diff. So if this macro name is not defined by using #define directive, then this statement will be added or included by our preprocessor in the expanded source code, and so that our compiler is going to compile that statements. So it's just a complement of this if-diff. And the next thing is this undiff. We use this undiff to undefine any macros which are defined by using #define directive. So we're gonna see about that later. First we're gonna begin with this if-diff. Now for the demonstration purpose, we're gonna define a macro by using #define, and we're gonna name it as Intel. So now in our main function, we're gonna check whether if this macro is defined. So it's gonna be #if-diff Intel, that's a macro name. Then we want to execute some code within this if-diff and and-diff. So here we want to print something. Let's say course for the Intel PC. Save it, compile it and run. So as you can see here, since this Intel macro is defined by using this #define here, the code for the Intel PC will be included by our preprocessor in our expanded source code. That's why our compiler is gonna compile that statement. Now we're gonna close it. So now for the demonstration purpose, we're gonna remove this line, save it, compile it and run it. So as you can see here, nothing is printed. That's because this if-diff resulted in false, or this Intel macro name is not defined. That's why this printf statement is skipped. So now we can use this if not defined. Now this Intel macro is not defined in our program using #define. That's why this printf statement will be included. Actually this Intel macro is not defined, that's why it's gonna be for the non-Intel PC. So as you can see, the code for the non-Intel PC. And now we're gonna define it. It's gonna be #define Intel. Now Intel macro name is defined. Now we can use this #undiff to undefine this macro. So now save it, compile it and run it. So as you can see here, since this Intel macro is defined, this printf statement is skipped. Now we're gonna close it, and we're gonna use this #undiff and undefine this Intel macro name. Now save it. Now what happens is, first we are defining this Intel macro and then we are undefining it. So when it comes to here, if-and-if Intel, here this Intel macro is not defined. That's because we have undefined it. That's why this printf statement will be included. So save it, compile it and run it. So as you can see here, go for the non-Intel PC. So this is it. This is about the if-diff, if-and-diff and undiff. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I see you in the next tutorial.